High protein diets have been backed by science to be one of the most effective diets for losing weight. And after losing 70 pounds myself and coaching several clients online, having a high protein diet tends to be one of the biggest struggles. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 7 tips that you can start implementing today to increase your protein so much that you can't help but not lose weight. But first, let's talk about why high protein diets make weight loss a lot easier. Number 1, protein helps control hunger. So when you have more protein throughout your day, protein actually keeps you full for much longer. This is why you may notice if you were to eat a big steak, you are going to be more full after this. Now, imagine if you spread this out throughout your day, you are going to be more full throughout the day and have a lot less cravings either at nighttime or just throughout the day. Number 2, protein encourages better food choices. A lot of the snacky foods that you want don't have much protein in them. So when you start increasing the amount of protein that you get, you actually start making better choices of the food that you are having. Number 3, protein helps prevent overeating at meals. Just like I mentioned before, protein actually keeps you full for much longer. It actually even sends a signal to your brain, lowering a hunger hormone in your brain called ghrelin, telling it that you are more full. So when you eat more protein throughout a meal, you will actually eat less in that meal because you're going to get full quicker and stay full for much longer. Number 4, protein helps build muscle and preserve muscle when you are losing fat. Protein is the building blocks to your muscle. So the only way that you can build it or even maintain it is by having a high protein diet. And you want this because it's going to make sure that your maintenance calories stays higher and that dream body that you want actually is one that has more muscle on it than you think. Number 5, protein has the highest thermic effect of food versus carbs and fats. So protein takes your body a lot more work to digest this. So actually it burns calories, more calories digesting protein than if you were to have carbs or fats, because your body will burn calories digesting foods, and protein tends to be the highest one of this, making it out to be about 20 to 30% of the calories that you eat through protein are actually burned off through digesting it. Now, most people are going to give you the advice to have more protein powder or eat more protein bars. This isn't terrible advice, but to be honest with you, it's not what keeps us a sustainable result for the long term, especially with weight loss. So let's dive into number 1. When on a diet, this is what most people's diets actually look like. For breakfast, you have a coffee and then some sort of protein bar or granola bar. And then lunch rolls around, you have some sort of salad. Maybe it's got a little bit of chicken in it. But for the most part, you just have some sort of small salad. You barely eat anything at the beginning of your day. Now, if you were to add this up, this gives you about like 30 grams by noon. To put that into perspective, that's about 20% on average of what a woman should be eating for their daily protein when it comes to losing fat and building muscle. So now you're expecting to get the rest of the 80% by dinner, which is a very tall task. So I want you to make a rule for yourself. I want you to get 60 to 80 grams of protein before noon. Most people do not struggle with getting protein when dinner time rolls around. This is where most of the protein is actually eaten that most people have. You struggle with getting protein at breakfast and you struggle with getting protein at lunch because you're barely eating anything at all. And like we talked about earlier, protein keeps you full for longer. So if you eat it earlier in the day, you are actually going to have less cravings and less likely to overeat when dinner time rolls around. Have you ever had the feeling where you haven't ate much all day and then dinner rolls around and you are starving? You eat way more than you probably should have. And it's almost like that weird feeling where you're eating so much, but you're still hungry and you want to eat more. Whereas if you front loaded this day with more protein, you would actually be full for longer and weight loss would be a lot easier. So you need to make protein a must for breakfast and for lunch. Now, even if you hit 60 to 80 grams of protein before noon, there's another big mistake that makes getting protein a lot harder than it needs to be. When music is made, it is made around the lead singer. If you go to a concert, that pop singer that's out there, that production is made around them. You don't make the production first and then pick out the artist. If someone is in a band, those instruments are supporting that lead singer. They are allowing that lead singer to shine more. Or if it's rap music, the beat that is with the rap music is actually making the rapper sound better. It is supporting that rapper. Your diet works the same way. You want to pick your lead singer first, and then everything else is around it and supports it. So what I want you to do is I want you to build every single meal around protein. Make that protein your lead singer. It's like if you were doing a cookout or if you were grilling. You don't pick your sides first. You pick what you're gonna make. You pick the hot dogs, the burger, the steak, and then after you pick that, you decide, okay, do I want to make potatoes with it? Do I want to make any sort of green beans? Do I want to make any sort of casseroles? You start picking around what that meat source is. So at breakfast, you're probably picking the eggs, and then you're adding maybe toast, and then maybe you're adding a fruit. You're not picking the other one first. Or maybe you pick a protein yogurt for breakfast, and then maybe you're adding granola on top, some honey to add for a sweetener, and some berries on top of that. Now, if you don't know how much protein that you should be eating to lose weight, then I have a whole free calorie calculator that you can access in the link in the description. It's gonna tell you how many calories you need to lose weight, and it's gonna tell you how much protein to eat as well. And I have a bonus mini course attached with it too. Now, most people think increasing their protein means changing their entire diet, when in reality, it can be something as simple as a little swap. As I'm recording this, protein has become incredibly popular. If you were to walk down the aisle of a grocery store, you are going to see several products that are going to be branded, and they're just gonna put on 6 grams of protein in this, 10 grams of protein bar, protein pasta. You're gonna see protein literally everywhere when you walk down that aisle. Protein cereal. Now this can get tricky because to be honest with you, a lot of these brands will advertise them being a protein food when in reality, they don't have that much protein in them. They might say high protein and it only has like 4 or 5 grams of protein in it per serving. That's not a high protein food. So this leads me to tip number 3, that I want you to buy higher versions of protein foods. And I'm gonna give you some great examples because like I said, you go to the grocery store and it can be confusing when walking down the aisle. If you go down the pasta aisle, you have 2 big options that are actually gonna increase the amount of protein that you can have. There are going to be ones that have protein pasta. It'll say it on there. Now, there's just a little bit of an increase in protein and you can get, but also another great one is going to be chickpea pasta. This is going to be much higher in protein. I think it's Goodles is the brand that you will probably find, but it's going to be much higher in protein, which is going to make getting that protein amount a lot easier. And yes, it probably costs just a little bit more, but I think it is worth it in this scenario when you're trying to hit a higher protein number. Also, you can start swapping out the broth that you use for a bone broth. There are several recipes that you can make where you can actually use cottage cheese as a replacement for cheese and as a replacement for cream. If you don't know how to do this, you can literally just type it into AI and ask it. You could use a higher protein milk, so going for the Fairlife milk. I think this is a great option. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but to me, I think it is worth it. You can choose the higher protein yogurt, so choosing like a Chobani or an Oikos brand. These brands are much higher in protein for Greek yogurt than choosing some other brand. These are just some of the great options to use. Just be careful when you go in the grocery store. Make sure you actually start paying attention to, is that really look like a high protein food, or are they just maybe adding 1 or 2 grams just to jack up the price on you? Now, even if you buy higher protein foods, there is still one strategy that a lot of people don't take advantage of. If you wanted to make more money for vacation, you would probably double the amount of time that you work so you can start to increase the amount of money that you're making. If you wanted to get better at chess, you would double the amount of time that you play chess. I bring this up because I am starting to get a little bit addicted to chess. I never thought in a million years I would say this, but playing online now, and I am freaking addicted. I just want to keep increasing my velo. People who play chess, you'll know what I mean. If you wanted to increase your heart health or be more cardiovascular fit, you would double the amount that you go for on a walk. But for some reason, when it comes to protein, you forget one of the easiest ways to get more protein into your diet, which is going to be double the amount of protein that is in your recipes. You can literally just simply take your pasta and chicken recipe and double that amount of protein. Or you could round up. Maybe you're using maybe you're trying to do 2.5 pounds. Maybe you round up to 3 pounds. Or maybe you, instead of 2, times it by 2, times it by 1.5. You can increase the amount of protein in these recipes without screwing up the recipe. Everybody tries to sit here and think, what other product should I buy to increase protein in my diet? You literally have an answer sitting right in front of your face, which is just increasing what you are currently doing. So for breakfast, instead of having 2 eggs, maybe you have 3 or 4 eggs, or you start including egg whites into your eggs. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, what other food should I include into my diet to actually eat to get more protein? Well, this next tip is going to make this very easy for you. AI scares a lot of flipping coaches because they think it's going to potentially take their coaching clients from them. When in reality, I really think AI is a great tool. I really think AI gives you really good answers to things. It gives you really good information. Now, I think AI lacks in some areas, but if you ask it a question, it's going to give you a pretty dang good answer. I'm not joking. You could literally take a screenshot of whatever app you use. Maybe it's MyFitnessPal, Macros First, whatever tracking app you use. You could take a picture of what your meals are and ask it a simple question. How could I include more protein into my current diet, but still make it sustainable without changing my diet entirely? You can give it this question and it's going to give you a good answer without drastically changing everything. Or you could literally just ask it for suggestions of high protein foods at breakfast or lunch. Or maybe you have a salad and you say, how can I include more protein into my salad? How can I include more protein in the specific breakfast that I'm having? There's never been a time in the world right now where you literally have so much access to help and information when it comes to getting more protein into your diet. There's almost like no excuse to not get more. Now, most people avoid this next tip because they think it hurts them when actually it helps them, and it's one of the easiest tips you can do. When I lost 70 pounds, my biggest problem was I would come home, I would grab an entire family bag size of chips. It was barbecue Lay's or it was cheddar Ruffles. Every single time I would eat the whole bag. If not, I would eat most of the bag and leave a little bit left because I felt like I didn't finish the whole thing. And I would eat this entire thing. And for so long, I started thinking, oh, snacking's a bad thing for you. It is not good for you, because my association of snacking was come home, eat an entire bag of something, and then gain weight because of this. So I never thought snacking was a good thing. But what if you use snacking to your advantage? Which is this next tip, which is include one high protein snack daily into your diet. I don't think you realize how one high protein snack can go such a long way. And there's so many different options. One of my favorite actually is I have a Ninja Creamy, and you can make your own ice cream. I freaking love ice cream, so I decided to make my own. I could make a 40 to even like a 60-gram protein ice cream. You don't need to make that much, but you can. Does it taste exactly like Ben & Jerry's? Of course not. I'm still gonna have the Ben & Jerry's from time to time, but it doesn't taste exactly like it. You can do protein yogurt. You can do smoothies. You can get jerky. Costco, literally, you can go to Costco and they have a little healthier aisle that has a lot of high protein snacks. You can go in this aisle and find some. I hate this one, but some people love it. To me, it just grosses me out. But some people will eat cottage cheese. I think they like put some stuff in it too, like even like honey or whatever, and they eat it straight. For me, I don't know, something about the lumpiness, and to me it's gross, but some people like to do that. They're freaking nasty. Now, make sure that this protein snack is roughly 15 to 30 grams of protein. I'm not the biggest fan of having that protein snack be a protein bar. At least for me, when I eat a protein bar, I don't really get that full from it. I tend to actually get a little more hungry, and it doesn't really satisfy for me. Now, maybe for you it will. But you got to start finding some sort of snack that's going to check the box of having 15 to 30 grams of protein, and it will start to add up. Now, this snacking strategy works really well for increasing protein and helping with weight loss results. But if you're going to take anything from this video, then you need to listen to this next tip. I'm going to do some simple math for you. I'm no mathematician. I'm decent at math in school. I actually sucked at history probably the most. But take 3 times 40. What is that? Obviously, 120. Now, I want you to take 120 plus 20. It's going to give you 140. This math leads me to tip number 1, which is have 30 to 40 grams of protein at every single meal. This is how to make this sustainable, because you start learning, how do I incorporate protein at breakfast, lunch, dinner, my snack? This is going to allow you to learn how to incorporate into your diet. A lot of people are going to give you some sort of cookie cutter plan. You have to learn how it fits your life. This blows my mind that more people aren't putting in that little bit of extra work to make the weight loss stay off forever, instead of just sitting here doing a quick fix and then gaining the weight right back. So that 120 that we had is 3 meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner being 40 grams of protein. And then when we added 20, that is that snack. So just by you having 3 meals that are 30 to 40 grams of protein, and then 1 snack that's 15 to 30 grams, this is going to give you your daily protein to eat. And it seems simple because it is. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do always, but it is just as simple as really just prioritizing every single meal to have more protein, and then including 1 snack to make it a little bit easier. And you can even break this up according to whatever works best for your goals in your life. So maybe your dinner is a little bit higher, and then your breakfast is higher than your lunch, or whatever. You can break this up, but you should include this at every single meal. Now, if you're somebody who's been struggling to lose weight for months, maybe even years, your biggest problem is not losing the weight. It's actually you regaining that weight back, because every time you lose a few pounds, you end up putting those pounds back on. And if you need help getting out of this cycle of losing and gaining the same 3 pounds, then I break this down in the next video that you should watch here.